Melissa Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about stripping. It's interesting doing a video on this because my parents don't know that I strip. Pretty much almost every member of my family has no idea. I think people can relate. They can understand why. Eventually they will know. I'll be happy to tell them when I'm able to pay off all their loans and bills and they don't have to work anymore. I don't think they'll give a shit then. But until then, there's no chance of them finding out on YouTube. Not at the moment. My dad couldn't look up to find me if you paid him millions of dollars. So, no worries about that. But stripping's important. Not only for women, men can make money through it too. Almost all of my student loans are paid off. That happened through stripping. I never was able to graduate college. I had taken out 2 loans in the span of 4 years. I failed a single class, and I didn't have enough to pay for the remaining class. My school wouldn't budge, in any way, and I didn't want to take out another loan, so I dropped out. At the time, I had 3 jobs, so I was busy enough. And I continued working those jobs for a while. It was about a year. I was working as a juicer in a little vegan cafe, which I loved. I was tutoring / nannying. And I was a hostess in a restaurant. I quit all those jobs to spend the summer in London with a person I knew. But I was very young and unexperienced with flying. I didn't think it would be a big deal if I bought a one-way ticket and just bought the next one when I decided to leave within the span of how long I was supposed to be there. They wouldn't let me through the borders, sent me back. This intensified my relationship with the person. He became my husband. And to live there, I needed a visa, and it would make it easier if I were to have an American job, working while I was there. That is how I got into online stripping. I remember sort of just researching about it and thinking this is something I could definitely do. My fiance knew at the time. My very best friends knew, the girls that I was living with. That was when I was in the 1 bedroom with 3 other girls, Manhattan. They all knew, and they were very supportive of me. Just because they were just good friends. They knew that I was comfortable with it, and right off the bat, I was making a lot of money. More money than I would spend a week working 3 jobs, driving myself crazy for, and more. But I did get some pretty serious backlash. One of my sisters thought it was pretty disgusting. She's cool with it now, but it took a while. I had essentially my old circle of friends when I was in high school. They were my best friends at the time. They found out through the internet. And I got a lot of hysterical phone calls. What are you doing with your life? You used to be a Christian. Didn't you want to wait to have sex until you were married? It bothered me that they thought I was spiraling down. But in reality, I was making a lot of money. I wasn't spending a whole lot of time doing it. I'm talking 4 hours a day. I was very comfortable, literally for the first time since I had been living on my own. When I moved, almost 3 years in, it's just, okay, I can go out and I don't have to worry about how much money I'm spending. I'm moving to London and essentially paying for this wedding that I'm about to have. Because of the backlash that I experienced back then, I kept it very quiet for a long time. When I moved to London, I didn't really tell anyone how I was making money. I told them I was working for a writer in Manhattan. I wasn't ashamed. I just thought it would be easier. And yeah, I guess it is. But now, I think it's important to be open about it. I've been able to pay off almost all of my student loans, that credit card that I maxed out for the root canal. I pay $250 a month now. That is amazing considering I was about $100K in debt 3 years ago. I'm extremely grateful. And really I'm proud of myself for diving into something completely foreign to me and being successful at it. Not everyone can do it. Personally, I think it's a little bit a part of my personality. I really enjoy it. I like attention. I don't have any sense, I'm not into fashion at all. I don't like to go shopping for clothes. I live out of my suitcase. It's all bundled up. I've always loved lingerie. I think it's extremely sexy. And I don't know, I like strutting around in it. I really do. It's fun for me. It really is. I remember the very first time I was on camera. It was just on my bed. And I had this black bra on with black underwear and this long t-shirt. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And I remember when people started tipping me and I was dancing and taking it off. I remember thinking like, okay, here we go. And I loved it. It's important to be aware though that if you do want to go on that route, people are going to film you and put your videos up on the internet. So you have to be okay with that. I've spoken to girls about it who are very excited. But then once they realize that like, oh yeah, people can film me, they instantly turn away. For me, it doesn't bother me. I've had 2 people in the span of the whole time that I've been doing this. I'm about to be 29. I started when I was 22, I believe. They told me that they saw me, they messaged me. I had an ex-boyfriend. It was like, Jesus fucking Christ. He was into it though, and then we ended up meeting up and fucking. That was fun. But yeah, people online have told me, I saw your videos on this site, and it's just like, okay, I don't search myself, I don't look it up. I'd rather not see it. Because I know everything that I've done, and I'm comfortable with it. People will pay a lot of money for things that you may be uncomfortable with. You have to figure out your own level. I did. And it's essentially just stripping. I've fucked around with like vegetables and whatnot. Not in a long time, and I was still sort of figuring myself out. I don't cam on the internet anymore. I go to clubs. It's funny. I'd been traveling for a year. Camming, no problem. I got to Paris and they didn't allow pornography in any hotel in fucking Paris. I was like, that's an extremely prude law to have. But I remember asking the front desk about it. I'm like, this is how I make my money. Is there any way you could just lift it? They're like, no, it's a law. So I was like, all right. So I started walking down the Moulin Rouge district, asking in French if I could work in their club, like dance in their club. And I was hired. I loved it right away. I remember getting on stage. It was the most beautiful long stage. And it was just fucking fantastic. And in both jobs, camming online and camming on in clubs, you have a lot of power. You have a lot more power than I've ever experienced at any of the other jobs I was working at. Mostly I was working in the food industry, the service industry. But dear God, I was always dealing with fucking asshole managers. I got fired a lot. I don't like anyone telling me what to do. It makes a lot of sense that I'm a writer. I have my own YouTube channel. I'm a stripper because in stripping, you have so much freedom. You have a lot of power. I haven't worked at the best of the best clubs, but the clubs I have worked at, you don't really have to make a schedule. You can wear almost whatever you want. Smoke fucking pot outside. You could take cigarette breaks whenever you want. You have a lot of leeway with the customers too. Like some girls, they just make their own prices and they're paid it. You know, men have said rude things to me. Whatever, online, you can block them. In real person, I'll fucking slap them. No one's yelling at me. No one's telling me to act a certain way. It's never like that. The worst I've ever gotten was in Czech. They told me to put on more makeup. I had to pay for their fucking makeup artist to put more makeup on me. And they bitch about my shoes because I don't like proper stripper shoes. I wear high heels. But it's not usually an issue. As long as you like really look good, they're not gonna say anything. And managers, in my experience, have always been more respectful in a lot of ways than other managers I've worked at in completely non-sex related jobs. It's really easy. And it's a lot of fun because when you think about it, you're just dancing. Online, I'd listen to any music I'd want and I would just dance. If someone were to tip me a lot, I'd take off my clothes. That's pretty much how I do camming now, if I do it. If I'm in between strip clubs or visiting New York or something. There's just a hell of a lot of freedom associated with it. Make a lot of money too. Shit, I'm up to 14 minutes. I'm gonna start part 2. I have more things to say. Thank you for listening.